Ooh, what's up, Philadelphia sports fans? I am Anthony Pinto.
And I'm Keith Malashevsky.
Welcome to the War Room. We are War Room Philly. Keith, how you doing up there?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good up in here in Quarantineville.
Yeah, up in my upper left, no, upper left on camera. Okay.
It's not as cozy and not as filled with Funko Pops as your area, but
Yeah, it's mine's really cozy now.
I know. I
Really
know.
cozy. Yeah, get the get a little fresh. Let the chat say it. The secret lab. Have
I was
you
about
have
to
you
say,
seen this, Keith?
I
Actually, I can
haven't.
see it's on your. Look, you got to see the booty. The booty is where it's at. Oh, look at that ass.
Oh, look at that! Look at
Uh, and my chair's got a nice back too. Oh no, are you talking about me? Uh, no, but yeah, it was a little self splurge,
that.
little
Well,
little birthday stimulus.
yeah. For those who are unaware, because of and you did not tune into my Facebook Live show, how dare you? Uh, just kidding. That last week was Anthony's birthday, so we didn't do a Twitch show, but I did go to Facebook Live, just kind of recap things. Not
Yeah.
really much going on. But you got a chair, you got a couple of Funko Pops that I sent you.
Yeah. I got one of them is right above us now. One's right
Yeah, this
above us. Couple back there. I got
one
Mysterio and Molten Man together as they should be.
they should
I
be.
got your Joker and my Riddler Batman variants together, which are like low key two of my favorite pops, like next to each other, because like why not? It's the
Yeah,
Batman and enemy costumes. You know what I mean? They're
yeah,
just really good variants.
they really are
Jamie got me the Yoda one, which is like
dope.
right here. By the way, where are we at,
But
camera? Oh, we're here. Yeah. Da-dun. Here's for you, Keith. For
there you go.
you. But yeah, you're right. I did. I got as every birthday should go. Got a nice addition of pops to the collection. Got myself a Mewtwo one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And I got Bryce Harper actually. Got
Oh, that's
but
pretty cool.
I got I set it up outside. I got Bryce and Aaron Nola, and in between them I got a little mini figurine of the 2008 World Series trophy. Just something for Nola and Bryce to focus on. And it could be hopefully something that they focus on this year. And honestly, that's like the one thing right now that looks grim. It's looking good on the sports front, Keith. If I can casually slide us into we are a sports show. I got to pull
It,
up chat too, by the way.
I do have chat up as well
I
now.
forgot my extensions are down. I got to correct that after the next after the show. But yeah, we gotta keep an eye on chatteroonie. So,
Rooney.
oops. But yeah, we're gonna be talking a little bit about everything today. But yeah, and I even casually slid it in the title. If you want to get me a birthday gift, an easy one is just dropping us a subscription. Especially if you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime for free. So yeah, give us a sub. Help me build my computer. That's gonna probably be the next thing that sub money is going towards. But yeah, I'm thinking that's the next big purchase, Keith. Cause so I'm not gonna be wasting. I'm not gonna be spending my money this summer on concerts and sporting events and all of that. So I'm like, I need a goal. Why am I going to work every day and being miserable? I need a goal.
I hear you.
I need blinders. So right now it's a computer.
Yeah.
And if I get a computer chat, it's going to be a computer that you can watch me in all of my silver glory throw in first person shooter games. Because it's really all I play by myself. And I'm always like, I want to stream, but my computer is poopy at like all the games that I like to stream. So the counter to that is get a computer that's not poopy.
That is
So
that is a pretty good counter.
that's the summer goal. Oh, Keith, I see you in chat with them sexy emotes. Um,
Yes,
but
yes, yes.
but yeah, um, definitely, definitely a good one. So yeah, if like I said, if anyone out there wants to support the show, go ahead and drop us a subscription. But yeah, I finally got chat up. We got the whole nine. I see fish face. Oh man, which was this one? Saba. You don't get enough Sabos in chat. Oh, we got a follow too. Thank you for the follow, DSC. But yeah. So again, now we got the ball. We got the ball rolling, Keith. We got our first follow during the show. We got chat interactions. It's going down.
Yeah, we do.
I just realized that when you follow, the notification of my old school logo comes up, and it's like a Dignitas 76ers logo, and I low key love it.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it was my original Trust the Process. Jay Ziggy dropping some War Room Phillies in chat. What's oh yeah, Warroo 215 is the emote. But yeah,
Yes, it is.
By the way, Jay Ziggy's, we were already kind of shouted you out. I showed the Yoda pop, but I forgot. Dope shirt too. Dope shirt.
I was wondering about that. I was wondering.
Yeah,
about
it was
that.
also a birthday gift. So there was a bit of a Mandalorian theme, and even you got in on that, Keith.
Well, I saw that she gave you that, and I was like, well, if she's gonna do that, I got to make sure that he gets everything possible. See, they only last a limited time with Jay Ziggy because Jay Ziggy gets you the sick pops all the time. So I got to slide in when I can.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, it was good, despite being. But you know what? Honestly, Keith, and you know me, like probably how I would have spent my 31st birthday anyway was kind of by myself. I really don't. I did stuff for my 30th last year, and that was enough for probably until I'm 50, as far as being social. So
we're gonna pull you out before that. Don't worry about it.
So, but yeah. Again, practicing social distancing is nothing new to me. I love being a hermit. But
I wish I could like disagree with you, but no, I've known you for too long at this point.
Yeah, I went from like needing to always be outside and around people to never wanting to be around people or outside. I don't know when the meta shifted in my life. But I digress. Keith, let's talk sports. We're a sports talk show, right?
You did start to kind of tease it.
Sometimes we're a sports talk show. We got a lot. Despite there being no sports, the Flyers are good enough to make it into the playoffs. That's how good this Flyers team is this year. They're just, you know what's great though, and I'm like sort of playing around, but the Flyers before the shutdown were on a red hot streak, and
they were.
And everyone was kind of like, selfishly Flyers fans were like, great, we're red hot and we're gonna lose out because of it. But that red hot streak puts you into the playoffs, no doubt about it. We are one of only 8 teams guaranteed in.
True.
And that feels very gratifying. That feels very rewarding as a Flyers fan, and potentially as a Flyers fan who feels like you might have lost out a bit on this season. To know that last season push, if you will, in the regular season as we can see it now, that last season effort got you into that made you one of 4 teams in your conference that are already locked in. And again, I don't know about you, but that feels really gratifying. It feels really good right now to be a Philadelphia Flyers fan.
I'm stoked, to be honest. I got my Flyers blanket behind me, obviously. That is there. It's a regular constant to be there. And it's nice. It's nice and comfy. It's very comfy. But that being said, it's good to be able to watch playoff hockey and to be guaranteed that it will be extended because, as you said, we're one of 4 teams in our conference. That'll be the Bruins, the Lightning, us, and I'm dropping the last one horribly. But the point is, it is going to be all 4 of those teams playing
Capitals, did you say?
Yes, the Capitals. I didn't say the Capitals. That's the other one. That's in the East. St. Louis, Colorado, Vegas, and Dallas in the West are the ones that are going to get to do this. So we get to play a nice little round-robin tournament while the other 8 teams in our conference are duking it out to try to get into the final tournament there. We'll play that round robin, and the round robin will actually be uh, determining how your seeds go in that first round. So that way you still kind of get a little bit of a warm up while you're waiting for the other teams to kind of figure out their stuff. And it's really nice because you have a shot at the one seed where you didn't have a shot at the one seed beforehand. You may not get the one seed because tiebreakers are broken by your win percentage in the regular season. So Boston could tie you and still take the top, and that's fine. But the fact that you haven't shot at the top seed, that makes it all worth it at this point.
Again, as a Flyers fan, this whole situation, it feels really gratifying. We as Philadelphians love to find creative ways to bitch and moan, but really in this situation, we're coming out on top. Yeah, like you were saying, if rust is potentially an issue, and you're thinking, oh well, you got the round robin that you had mentioned. You can kind of work your way into it. It's not, an immediate sudden death type situation where you're immediately in a best of 5 or 7 game series or whatever it may be. You're gonna have like this round robin tournament. You get the juices flowing. Everyone else is in this same position too. Keith, look, I've joked about it all during this break, but the Flyers are gonna win the cup this year. It's just lining up perfect for them.
It's a very winnable tournament at this point because you don't have the Bruins, who were obviously on a roll the entire season. They were far and away above everybody else, almost uncatchable for that one seed. So you have everybody kind of starting at that flat spot. And I really think that this is a tournament for us that, at the end of the day, we could take it. You said it. The Flyers could win the Stanley Cup. This lines up the way that you would want it to be, because you kind of you get a sense of where you are with all those teams that you're gonna have to duke it out with. Because yes, I know the Penguins are one of those bottom 8 teams.
They're the Penguins, the bottom feeders.
And they're probably gonna make it in. And there's a chance that if you end up at that 4 seed, that you got to play the Penguins in the first round. So that's a little stressful. But at that time, that same thing. You're not coming in cold. Everybody's kind of coming in the same boat. I like how this is setting up. Man, I'm gonna be heartbroken if it's short, but I don't think it's gonna be a short stay. I think the Flyers are going deep into these playoffs.
Yeah. Scoots is echoing our team motto: winnable. Yeah, absolutely winnable. So that's a team motto inside the 4Mercs 1 Cup team of ours in Rocket League. We're the one and only quad professional Merc Rocket League team, self-proclaimed professional. But yeah. It's you probably catch us later tonight. No. But yeah, honestly, like you know me, I'm not necessarily like the rah guy with like the pom poms and stuff. And in fact, the more I like I said, I was a joke throughout the whole quarantine or whatever, that like we'll win the Stanley Cup now because we can't party in the streets. You know what I mean? Because like we won't be able to have a parade until however many more months after social distancing.
Yo, I'll straight up wear a hazmat
suit. So it's like I've been joking this whole time that like now the Flyers will win the cup, but it's like now that this thing is coming to potentially a reality where, and again, everything is loose, which personally for me, Keith, I think the NFL or the NHL is laying this timeline out very loosely and leaving a lot of room for error, if you will. And I think it's really smart that they do that. That they're not like, we're gonna play on June 7th and they're gonna get out there and that's it. And it's like they're not giving any false hope for any real dates or anything.
There is still a lot to work out. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, the safety and the health is really what they got to work out at this point. They're also trying to work out where to be because of the quarantine laws that are in place, where 14 days once you get somewhere, they actually have a couple of like ideas of where to go, which there's I believe like Pittsburgh is one of the areas they were thinking about. There are a couple other places like that. Is basically what I'm saying, because you kind of need to set up in those situations. Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Edmonton, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, Pittsburgh, Toronto, and Vancouver are being considered for those places because they have a couple of arenas. You got plenty of hotels. You got practice facilities, kind of that you can get in on. So these are things that need to be thought about because you need to be safe. And that's why even with basketball, which we're going to get into at a certain point, they're thinking about a hub situation where you're going to be set in one place so that there's not a lot of travel, there's not a lot of cross mingling. You don't have to worry about that. So
Keith, did you somehow see inside my computer and see, like, you do it when you're here, you'll talk about the things I pull up on my screen, but you somehow did it when you weren't here, you're a Jedi. I just pulled up the basketball situation, and as you're talking about, or as I do it, you bring it up. But yeah, no, you're right. In fact, going off of that situation that you brought up, this was the Woj bomb, if you will. Conversations have centered on timing of families' arrivals at the Walt Disney Resort, which are likely to start once initial wave of teams eliminated and number of people within the league's bubble decreases. But the NBA and NBAPA are progressing on a plan that would allow for a limited number of family members to eventually join players inside an Orlando, what they are calling an Orlando bubble environment. And all I can see in my head when I hear that or read that is the Simpsons movie where they drop the bubble over
yes,
Springfield.
Springfield.
Like is that what's happening? Is that what's happening right now? Oh, Phil with the
Yeah,
subscription.
thanks for the sub.
Thank you, Phil. By the way, also a member of Four Mercs One Cup. So it's nice. Where the hell is Steve? Chat. Where's the fourth member? But yeah, thank you guys for the the birthday wishes and everything. Just a shame Blues got it locked down. Oh yeah, it's, I was when I saw and was reading about the Blues stuff, I was thinking, I was like, I think you might be out there in St. Louis, right? So yeah, and I think the Blues are one of the four teams too. Yeah, Blues, Avalanche, Golden Knights, and Stars. So just like for everything we were saying for the Flyers, you have to feel that way if you're any of these teams. Like, granted, like the Flyers had that really hot push towards the end of now what we'll call the regular season that really pushed them into this position, which makes it a little maybe more gratifying for us. But out of any of these teams, if you're one of those eight, you got to be feeling good as a fan base, thinking that you could potentially be winning a Stanley Cup. In my opinion, it's still a cup. Like, none of this would be like, if your team wins a championship, it doesn't mean any less to you as a fan, does it?
I don't think anybody's going to be upset with winning it from that fan base. There might be a couple things you might get into, like if the Bruins don't get the 1 seed and they get an unfavorable matchup, like maybe you find the Boston fans boo-hoo, get a little bit of an issue with not being there. And hockey purists will have issue with that as well, I'm sure. But here's the thing. You were never going to make everybody happy with any proposal that you put out there. I think this really nails in the middle of pretty much everything. You have the sports purists weren't going to be happy with no matter what tournament situation went out with. You were going to have the people who want everything opened back up. It's taking too long to get there. And then the people who want things to be absolutely secure and shut down until it's absolutely 100% ready, they're not going to be happy with things opening up. I think you nailed right in the middle of that situation, and you went, you know what? Here. And then just put it right there in front of us. And I think this is probably the best of all situations. Basketball might be able to tweak what they're doing in the NHL and make it a little bit better because they can see now.
I would say less teams, especially for basketball. I even think in the NHL, it's a little, it's a bit much. 24 teams, it's a bit much, especially like if you're trying to go with the foresight of next season in mind, it's even more much. So yeah, if I'm the NBA, I go okay, hockey, okay, just shorten it, 16.
Well, it's funny you say that because you have players already,
What
specifically
up,
a
Murph?
player. You have Damian Lillard saying, "Listen, if you're doing any kind of situation where we're resuming even a slight regular season, I'm out. I ain't playing unless I have a legitimate shot to make that tournament, to make those playoffs, because it just ain't worth it for me."
Yeah,
So that I think that for situations like that, where you have players like Damian Lillard who say things like that, you have Carl Anthony Towns who lost his mother. Uh, you want to make sure that you're minimizing the amount of people involved in this, and that you make things as secure as possible. So skipping right to the playoffs like the NHL did is, I think, an absolute must.
yeah, it has to be.
And then at that point, I get that some teams like Mark Cuban's calling for like a two-team play-in type situation. I could get down with that. I could get down with two teams, but any more than that from each conference, and I might be like,
Yeah, because look, and especially with the NBA, like hockey, we can at least pretend that most of those 24 teams has a shot because of the parity that's in the
yeah,
NHL.
absolutely.
It
Basketball, not so much.
it doesn't exist, and especially in the Eastern Conference, like towards the bottom of that 6, 7, 8 seed, like they don't even deserve to be in the playoffs, much less your 7 through 9. So yeah, I agree. Two teams seems fair. You got your 1 through 8 on both sides, and maybe 2 to 4 of your bottom teams play. A 1 to best of 5, either one game elimination or a best of 5. Get it over with quick and get them in. Or maybe like a 4 team, one game elimination, and then you play a best of 5, and then you go into the regular.
Yeah,
But
because like I'm looking right now, and like you after your 8 seed, which is the Magic at 30 and 35, you have the Wizards at 24 and 40, the Hornets at 23 and 42, and the Bulls at 22 and 43. Like really, like that's you're gonna go ahead and argue over those guys who, let's be honest, I just named off maybe the Wizards out of those teams, the only one who has any kind of star potential, and even that, I just see any of those teams getting absolutely smushed.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Murph, that was Keith who was saying hi to you via chat. um,
Yes, yes, I did. I did it via chat instead of in the
yeah, it's a
vocal sense.
it was a sly little move by Keith in chat. Chief is apparently your chat name, Keith.
It's Chief Keith.
Chat Keith Chief. That's how my brain makes mistakes. So yeah. Um, so yeah. As far, and you brought up a good thing. I was purely thinking of it from the spectator's point of view, and from next season's point of view, but even from a safety point of view, yeah, minimizing teams minimizes people, minimizes risk. So yeah, it's in my opinion, the NBA should do almost exactly what the NHL is doing, just shorten the teams. And yeah, it's gonna be fun to have some sports back. Look, I know I was kind of in the boat of let's just wait until we can get back to a normal. I still stand by a team winning a championship in an empty arena is going to be weird. It's going to feel weird. When it happened right before all of this like kind of went down, um, we had ESL Katowice for Counter Strike, which is, if it's not an actual major, it's one of those tournaments that's still held to the same standard of the major, and that was played in an empty arena. A huge,
Mm-hmm.
like, imagine, the Wells Fargo. It was in an arena the size of the Wells Fargo Center, completely empty. And when the team raised the trophy, it was a little awkward.
It
and
is,
to
but
not hear fans screaming, and that's again, that's it's gonna be a little awkward when that
that
happens.
that's pretty easy to fix, though. I mean, come on. How many teams have crowd noise they can pump in? I mean, just go for it.
But see, like I don't want to watch that '70s show. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to watch like a laugh track or like boos and stuff. Like I don't really personally like if I'm in the broadcast booth or if I'm in the production team, which I should be. I'm not doing that. I'm not having that. I'm miking people up. And if we hear LeBron say "Go bleep yourself," we get it, and that is the new. That's what we get now. And in my opinion,
I think that's actually cool.
I want to hear all of the players running calls on the court. Do 2-3 zone. Like I want to hear them setting up this, and same with hockey. I want to hear like, don't touch my. You want to go. Like I want to hear that. I want to see.
I
Like,
think that's cool. It's unique. It's a
Mike
very unique situation.
Mike every inch of everything. I would have mics everywhere. And in my opinion, that's the way I would go. I would try to enhance the on ice, the on court, the on field sounds and the team interactions. The coaches, we don't have to hear them playing calls, but I want to hear more of that. Give us some different insights. I have a feeling that nobody in the industry is smart enough to suggest that. So we'll probably get some laugh tracks. We'll get like, yay! We'll have like, boos and stuff, and it's gonna be corny as hell. But
I mean, you can, in theory. I mean, we have technology similar to what they did at the NFL draft. You could go ahead and technically you have watch parties for that team. You could have those Zoom people, have them kind of pumped in at a certain point.
yeah,
As a reaction.
sure, that's even better than that. And Phil says, and I didn't even know this happens. He says, if golf could stand the silence and added bird noises, how are these loud sports going to handle it? And I didn't realize that they had done that on
I
the
didn't know
golf.
that.
I'm guessing that was the 2v2 thing. Are you referring to? Or I know there's been some like exhibition golf, and in my opinion, golf is like the one sport that you can really like can be enhanced, not enhanced, but like you won't miss a lot from people because for the most part they're quiet. But then again, when the crowds erupt for a made putt, the crowds erupt. And as someone that has been in a crowd for a major, I can attest like it gets pretty loud, albeit for a golf course. So yeah.
Which, by the way, speaking of golf, I did not catch any of the actual match, and I wish I had.
Yeah, I hadn't
But that
seen
match
it.
between Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Forget about the actual golfers. I want to talk about them. Did you see any of the comments surrounding it? Did you see some of the banter that went back and forth?
I know Nick Foles' name was invoked.
Yes,
I saw that there was a 7-10 split on Brady's pants.
there was
Uh,
there was indeed. Actually, I almost started crying laughing when somebody actually superimposed a 41-33 on his pants with the one being the split. Um, but that no, they did invoke Nick Foles' name. Peyton Manning said he probably should have used him as his caddy. And Tom Brady admitted that the Eagles bother him because he said something about the Falcons, and he was basically said something along the lines, "The Falcons don't bother me, bro. It's the Eagles that get me."
yeah, the Eagles, the Giants. We've heard him make shades to Eli Manning a few times in the past. And look, as a competitor, I love it. Like I love that that the teams that beat him in the Super Bowl stick out in his mind. Like that's what makes him the greatest. I'm in no means a Tom Brady fan, but I will defend that he's the greatest quarterback of all time till my breath runs out. And it's things like that. And we're seeing the Jordan documentary, and you see like these great players.
Oh, those things bother them.
Yeah, they remember who beat them, and they remember things like that. And again, I love it. I love that competitive, and I love that we own real estate in Tom Brady's head. You know.
Can't get any better than that.
So yeah, but I'm seeing. I think people are so desperate that they could play Nickelback during the entirety on repeat and they'd still watch it. And then I hear, look at this photograph. Yeah, no, it's true. Chat getting in on it. MLS season ticket holder, love the live soccer matches. Excited, yeah, that's cool.
Well, the cool
Season
thing
ticket.
about the
What team, Phil? Because you're in Tennessee, right? So what's is there Keith? Would you know?
he's
But
out in Tennessee. I
is
have
that
no idea.
Nashville Soccer Club? There we go. Yeah.
But I
So
will say this. I mean, the good news about soccer, if they did resume, they'd really be missing nothing by having those empty stadiums to just be status quo anyway.
ooh, not like that, Keith. Come on, that's the one thing that soccer's got is the good fans, right?
No, actually, no. It's funny because
that's
I
the
actually
kind of low hanging fruit I pick, not you. Come on,
I
Keith.
I had to, but
Don't make me defend soccer.
Here's the funny part is that maybe they don't know that. Phil definitely doesn't know this. Like I've actually been to some Union games and I actually do enjoy the Union.
Keith is the soccer fan out of the duo. I am actually the but I'll sit there and watch Rocket League all day. You throw some cars in the mix. You throw some.
And then Rob's getting in because he's not very happy with my anti-soccer
I was
right
gonna
there.
subscribe. No, I think Rob, if anything, he wouldn't subscribe because of my throwing the other night playing Valorant. Can't give Bezos money for some reason. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, if you have
not notice any change.
If you have the Marlins, that's the one thing. It's like if you want a taste of what we'll get, watch any of the Marlins games.
Pretty much.
But yeah, if you want to take some money away from Bezos, give it to us. Drop that Amazon Prime sub right here.
Just saying. If you really love Anthony and want to celebrate his birthday, you do that now.
It's not my birthday now, by the way. I'm just using that. It is our first stream since my birthday though.
It's still your birthday month.
I'm using that for that subscription. Ken Griffey Jr. Playing for the Marlins. Those were the days. Mariners. Right? Junior was Mariners.
He played for Mariners.
Yeah. Those were the Junior Griffey was my favorite player. Like he's my favorite baseball player, and he's the reason why I. Oopsies. We know what you meant, Mariners. But yeah, Griffey was my favorite player. In fact, Steve and I, which you guys, Scooch and Phil, you guys know Steve. Steve and I went and saw Ken Griffey. Him and Mike Piazza were inaugurated into the Hall of Fame together. And I went to that because
I still have yet to go to Cooperstown.
It's Keith. You've been to the Football Hall of Fame.
I
right?
have. I've been to Canton. Yes.
So if you enjoyed, I've never been to Canton, but here's what I would say: if you enjoyed Canton, you'll probably love Cooperstown 10 times over.
I would say my brother who is booing me in chat right now has been.
Oh, that's who New Poner is. Yeah. There he is.
I'm like 99% sure that's him.
New Poner Leet. Cooperstown it's a lovely little town, and it's like the cool thing about Cooperstown is it's one street and it's pure baseball. Like the diner
that's
is
awesome.
Like Little League Baseball Diner, and across the street it's Double Day Diner, and then Dollar Store Baseball, and then everything is baseball throughout the entire strip of town. And I honestly, to any baseball fan, I can't recommend it enough. And for us, at least on the East Coast, it's only I think about a 4-hour drive, maybe. It's not too far. But yeah. Hot dog restaurants, yeah. There's some good little food joints there, and it's such a cool little town. Yeah, you gotta go on Hall of Fame weekend though.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That's the real deal. But yeah. As far as we'll try to wrap this into sports again, and getting into hopefully this baseball thing. Look, there's a lot of some people say, oh, it'll definitely happen, but there are legitimate talks that we might not get a baseball season this year, and it might more be due to the players and owners not agreeing than anything. And that would be troublesome because for the owners to not be willing to take a bullet here, it's kind of insane. Like these owners, even on the 32nd team in the league, like even in the bottom of the barrel, you're gonna make billions and billions, like eventually, if not sooner rather than later. So for these owners to be like trying to like essentially pinch pennies over these players who are, for lack of a better term, they're putting their safety and their health on the line if they do, intend to go out and do this. And they could be potentially away from their families long enough, for a long extended period of time. So,
And not for nothing, the owners have tried to change the deal twice now since they originally proposed, and they're claiming, oh, there was good faith about renegotiating and all that in the original verbiage. And you know what? At this point, this last proposal the owners made is just absolutely insulting to the players. I wouldn't even counter if I were them. I'd just be like, you know what? This is what we want. You want us to play? Here's what we're doing. Otherwise, we're good. And as bad as that would be for baseball, that's what it has to come down to.
yeah, it's a damn shame too because if they get this settled, we could, for the one time in our life, see an ideal baseball season. Like baseball being shortened to an 82 game
It's good.
season, that's even like beyond my wildest dreams. Look, I'm a huge baseball fan and I've been saying 120, 100 games. Like you do not need to play 162 games in 2020.
No,
Like
you really don't. You really
know
don't.
what I mean? Or in 2021 or in 2020, like it's so outdated to play that many games. And it's just like you can increase, first off, you can get rid of these like terrible, no one wants to go to a baseball game in April in Philadelphia when it's snowing,
Yeah.
and then in May when it's 100, and then in June when it's snowing again. You know what I mean? Like we're not trying, like no one wants, so if you shorten the season, expand the playoffs, it's a win-win. And the only reason why they don't want to do it is because money.
Yeah.
So
Money.
it is what it is. And look, I've been saying the same thing for basketball and hockey too. 82 games for those is too much. 70 would be perfect. 60.
Well, I'll say this: you may not get your wish on the shortening of the season for basketball, but there's been rumblings about shifting when this season starts.
Yeah. Well, basketball
I
is
don't know if you
dying. Basketball is dying to start on Christmas.
and they're really thinking about it now because of everything that's been happening. They're like, well, if we're gonna do this tournament, we really can't start the normal time. And then that if they do that and it gets good ratings from that December to July format, essentially that they would end up having, that could stay like that. And if baseball takes a year off and basketball starts up and does that, that could be very bad for baseball. That could be catastrophic for baseball.
Yeah. I play suit up. I'll take the money. Yeah. But yeah, as far as baseball goes and all these sports, it would be such like the ideal to just like take a step back and kind of look at your sport. And yeah, like you were saying, you know, how about this, Keith? You were talking about the basketball wanting the Christmas. What if to not necessarily combat that, but what if to do their own promotion hype, hockey's first game, New Year's Day Stadium Series? I am a god. I am a marketing genius. Someone put me in a production booth.
Don't forget, you were also humble too. No, I love that kind of idea. I doubt that happens.
You start the NHL season in an outdoor game. First off, you would reinvigorate the Winter Classic because they oversaturated it. And thanks Scoots for the bits. Um,
Wow.
I think that's the first time we got a donation with bits, by the way.
I
So I
think we did,
appreciate
yeah.
that. So I was blinded by the bits. I forgot my point. No, but you can.
You reinvigorate the winter class is average oversaturated.
Yeah.
You give meaning to that type of outdoor series because hey, now it's your opener. It starts the season off with a wow.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking, Keith. That's, but yeah, I mean, like, why not? And again, these are like, you can really like repop like bring some like extra excitement into the next season, and if it works, maybe stick to it. Um, but that's not going to what I would personally. I want hockey and basketball to like separate a little bit. And in this scenario, we still don't get that. But I still do think that it's great. We have a potential to rearrange sports that don't usually pay at the same time. I'm really excited about that. Yes, that's exactly like that's word for word. Kevin, is it Kevin?
Yeah,
Which
it is
brother?
Kevin. It
I was
is
like,
Kevin.
word for word. What I'm like, what I was just thinking. It's like in that like we can really push. I think that's for me at least. I don't know about chat and everyone else. For me to separate hockey and basketball and to put basketball more in the summer and hockey more in the fall and winter would be so ideal. And it's like it just feels like it's like this big like we don't want to change just because it's how we've always done it. And it's like you're literally in the worst situation like in a globally terrible situation,
Yeah.
you're gifted an opportunity. You're gifted a golden opportunity to make change for positive for your sport and humanity. And and they're we're not getting it. We might not get it. I don't want to just shoot it down now.
Nah.
So hype hockey players aren't greedy. Well, I mean, you could say, how about the hockey owners aren't greedy? Because the owners did it right. I don't blame any players for being greedy when they're the ones losing out and the owners aren't.
It's also a little bit of a different situation in the
But it
sense
is
that
good to
we're
see you,
looking,
Joe. It is good to see you.
we're looking for a whole season instead of just the playoffs. It's a little different.
Yeah, it's a lot different actually. They really didn't have to argue about pay at all. The owners just gave it to them. But I digress. Owners are losing out on tickets. Yeah, exactly. But the owners are going to make billions and billions of dollars because they're
TV.
owners, and they're not. They don't have to go out there and travel. They just sit on their golden throne. So
TV and merchandising, by the way, is still a thing.
yeah, the owners will make their money back in tenfold. If not sooner, they'll make it later. And yes, the players are also getting compensated a lot better than all of us as well. But as you have to keep it in perspective. You have to look at all sides of the argument. Um,
I was looking at the emote dropped by my brother, and for a second I thought it was Danny DeVito on Thomas the Tank Engine, and I was wrong. Somebody else's It's somebody else's face, but I really thought it was for a minute.
yeah. So, but yeah, it is. It's great. And Joe, it's been a while since we've seen you. It's good.
Yeah.
How about the Flyers being in the cup, Joe? Flyers cup crazy in chat. But yeah, our resident Flyers crazy fan. But yeah, Joe, I was as soon as I heard that they were clinched, I thought about you in chat. Like, this has got to feel good for you. And we were talking about it earlier in the show too, Joe. That like, I even said it. They're winning it. Let's go Preds. Let's go Blues. That's great. I love it. Hey, Predators, I think, are in fact they're done now, right? Their season's over. Or they in the tournament? I forget. Are we having a parade? We'll have a parade. It'll just have to be probably like a little delayed. We might we'll start off next season with the parade. But yeah. Since Golden Knights, really good team. Yeah, fifth seed. For the Predators, I guess. But yeah, it's Look, as hockey fans, it's exciting. Basketball will probably follow behind. Football is just acting like nothing's wrong.
Don't worry about it. It's
Football is
completely
literally
fine.
the "this is fine" meme. This is fine. Everything's on fire. This is fine. Like
Yeah, my
football.
dad.
Football. Troy Vincent's like, oh yeah, we're gonna play in front of Phil Stadium. It's like, yeah, no, you're not, idiot. Why don't you guys start planning now?
My dad's already been hit up for a season ticket.
Well,
Prices.
that's why they're saying things like that. It's just like, oh well, in the fall everything will be different, right? When like
Uh-huh.
we kind of know already that it's not. Like it might be, but it's probably not. But the NFL is like, nah, we want that ticket money. We want that, and they're just, and it's again, that's billionaires gonna billionaire. You don't get to being a billionaire by being a kind-hearted person.
They'll end up doing what the Phillies did, which is hey, if you want reduced costs and you're gonna have him this year, in the chance that we do, we'll keep your money. And if we don't play, we'll give it to you next. You already paid for next year. Or if you want your money back, you can go ahead and do this convoluted way to get it back, and go ahead write us in.
You can do a handstand, chuck a beer through your butt, and do a bong rip.
That's seriously. Like, I mean, they basically were like, you have to like write in for it. Like, who writes letters anymore? Like, it's not electronic.
And it has to be with a feather dipped in ink. You can't use a ballpoint pen, or otherwise it's null and void.
Kevin, they actually already do have sports face masks out there. I don't think they're endorsed by the team, although Fanatics,
Yeah, no,
the baseball making company, that one, yes, that merchandise company for baseball actually did repurpose themselves to make masks. So,
oh no, I've seen some like team merchandised. Like
I didn't.
Eagles,
I know some people
like,
did them.
Yeah,
but
you can get Phillies. There's like there are companies out there. Yeah.
I knew that
licensed.
I know a lot of crafty people, so that I've seen them make ones. For
yeah,
people.
I got the gritty one from some. But yeah, like I was on Team Liquid's website. They got Team Let's Go Liquid face masks.
I want a gritty mask.
Yeah, true. You gotta get in on that.
I just got really jealous. Although a friend of mine, if I ever get it from him, his mother made me an Iron Man mask, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of where officially licensed to make them money. that's my favorite word to say on stream, money. But yeah. If getting the Corona Medicine Stanley Cup for the Flyers, give it to me. Hey, as long as you're willing to stay inside until all cleared, we're willing to do that for you, Joe.
Scoot, you made me laugh there. I want another man's name across my mouth. Damn it!
Yeah, exactly.
Who doesn't?
Bryce.
Bryce.
Money. So yeah, that's where we're at with life, I guess. So much money waiting to be made. Yeah, and I mean, forget all the money talk. I do think, like, so I've played like the role of being superly cautious. Like I've given that kind of wave, but now that it looks like it's going to be coming, it's going to be a really good release and a really good escape for a lot of us, and especially the people that are for everybody. I don't want to single out any one group of people, because we're all like, if you're unemployed, you're struggling. If you're working, you're struggling. If you're on the front lines, you're like, we're all in this in one way or another. So ultimately, sports is going to be a great release.
I'm sorry, I started laughing because
what's going down in chat?
Anybody gonna buy those pretzels for the guys in their shopping carts in the corner after all this?
No, that's guaranteed, Rona. That's guaranteed, bro. I got a Giroux mask. Oh, that's so. When you say you have a Giroux mask, Joe, I'm picturing like Giroux's beard, like his face. Like that's the way I would see it for you. But I am curious. Maybe it's like a cartoon kind of thing. But yeah, that'll be sweet.
I actually, that reminds me, in the I don't know if they're done, but the fan awards that you could vote on for the NHL, which Gritty was not winning, which is just a travesty. You could vote for best beard, and Voracek was on there.
Yeah. So Gritty's beard wasn't though.
It was not.
That's not.
They left it to human beards.
Ah, okay. So Gritty's beard wasn't on there. um, I won't have to share my 18.
Yeah, nobody around you. Right?
Nobody will want your $18 small nacho. No, Phil. Yeah. But and that's but to their credit, that's another thing that's being talked about though. Maybe you let 5,000 fans in, and you have you have certain vendors and certain things open to accommodate. All of these possibilities right now are being looked into, and it's really just comes down to hopefully the professionals, in the medical fields and in the scientific field can come down and get this to be the best atmosphere for everybody. We have to take care of of everybody that goes in and out of said building and atmosphere. So it's nice. It's really nice that we have hockey. This very loose but firm. I'm gonna be gentle but firm. Very loose but firm plan. Like, we see how the competition is going to be worked out for the most part. We got to figure out the the how long the tournaments are going to be. That's still something to be worked out. And then because of the virus situation, we have to see when and where everything will start. But yeah, as far as it goes, like, it at least looks like we're getting some sports throughout the summer. So that'll be fun. I'm loving it. Everyone's using them the viewer points and getting that War Room Philly emote down, and I'm loving it. I love saying it in chat. I'd look the card handle for sports pretzel right now. Oh boy.
It's a cop blowing a whistle.
So, but do we miss anything? I think now is probably about the time where we start moving into
it is the wrap up. Yes,
into the final thoughts, into the 2-minute warning. But yeah, if we missed anything in the world of sports, doesn't have to be Philly sports. I know we got some outsiders in chat. No one's an outsider if you're in chat. Let's be real. But if you want to talk about anything, sports or non-sports, feel free. Yes, Joe, you are the OG. We know. Feel free to give us a sub, Joe. Feel free now. But yeah.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool, Joe. I'm looking at it right now. It's almost like the Jersey back for the mask.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's like 28 Giroux looking like
yeah. I'll try to do this.
That's dope. That's dope. So yeah, I like that.
I don't know how that's gonna work.
Okay. Yeah. I like it. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Look, if you're gonna stay safe in style, right? So I dig it. I've seen a lot of like Philly sports ones around, and I dig it. I like the people that are trying to make the best out of a crappy situation. But good Rice Krispies. I'm confused. So yeah. Like I said, it's good that, like, moving forward, Keith, you and I, as doing this sports talk, we're gonna have more and more sports to be had. And again, slowly but surely, we're moving into the sports, where we're gonna see how it's working. Like, I think the NFL or the NHL did a huge step for us yesterday in coming up with a plan, because now the NBA, they have all, they basically have the guidelines. Take this, simplify it, expand, do whatever. Boom. We get the NBA back. We get the NHL back. Football, again, this is fine. They're just, they think everything's fine right now. But by all intensive purposes, I would say football is going to be played without fans or with some sort of minimization of fans. Could be wrong, but that's just my read on the situation. Um, but yeah, now we just got to get baseball, and we got to get baseball to really figure out what they're gonna do because an 82 game expanded regular or expanded postseason seems great. Get some double headers in. Um, it'll make for a really exciting season, and I do think when the time comes, this will all get worked out. I think right now a lot of it is both sides putting things out to the media to get both sides to panic. So yeah, it's we'll see. This is the time for Roger Goodell. But yeah. Wait, what did I miss? Okay. I'm seeing the interaction between you and some
Yeah.
students in chat. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? But but yeah, again, we're gonna see how this will all unfold. But at least in the meantime, for the summer, we know we're getting the hockey. And again, it's a good time to be a Flyers fan. That last we can say it as it is right now. Our last ditch effort in the regular season to make that push clinched a playoff spot. That hot streak that we ended on was not for nothing. It put you into the playoffs. It got you clinched. You get to warm up in a round robin tournament now instead of being in any of this. It's great as far as the Flyers go. So yeah, this is gonna be it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really fun thing. And as far as Flyers go, it'll be really interesting to see how this all unfolds. But it looks good. It definitely looks good. And yeah, it gives us a chance. Like we mentioned it before. Look, there was probably a very little to none, that the Flyers were going to have a shot at that 1 seed. Now you have a shot at the 1 seed. So I'm super interested. I can't wait. Yeah, who's the bot selling?
Yeah. And that's why he is gone.
So yeah, kind of weird. 3-0 and they have it. Yeah, it's really it's all possible. And I want to be reserved because like when I predicted the Eagles to win the Super Bowl last year, that was the only time on this show since 2011 that I had ever predicted a Philadelphia team to like preseason win a championship. Um, and I don't want to come off as rah rah, but I honestly do think, and I know I've been saying it half heartedly as a joke, but the more and more I say it, the more and more it sounds like it can be real. The Flyers can win the cup this year.
They could.
Because look, they're being rewarded for everything that they did this regular season, and they're in the exact same spot as everybody else right now, except they're a little bit better. And they're a good team on top of it.
We'll be mostly healthy. We'll still be,
you got JVR back.
He'll be back. Obviously, Lindblom will not be back.
No Nolan Patrick.
Yeah, Nolan Patrick probably won't be, but there's a chance. There's a chance.
Yeah, you get JVR though. Look, you're right. There is a chance. They've never ruled Nolan Patrick out, but with that migraine syndrome or whatever it's called, I think they're just gonna look. And where do you fit him in the lineup? Which is obviously a great problem to have, but where do you fit him in the lineup right now with how you were rolling? You were rolling 4 centers deep.
He ends up being your fourth center is what ends up being, which is great because there's no pressure on him at that point. It's just come in, make a difference, and that means I'm happy with the team as constructed, but him as your fourth center just makes that team even more dangerous if he truly is healthy.
Yeah, and again, it's probably unlikely that he comes in. But yeah, Derek Grant, Nate Thompson, I guess Nate Thompson, but yeah, these guys were playing well. I had to look up the line combinations.
I know,
it's been
right?
A while. But I mean, yeah, Derek Grant came in, and it's like that was Lindblom's spot, and he's been solid since he's been added. That was it's a trade that I kind of mocked when it happened. You know, not mocked, but I was like, I was very underwhelmed by it.
I was one that said it was very, very quiet but good, and I was right.
Yeah.
I am humbled just like you.
um, but yeah, so that's where we're gonna have it there. And as far as this team, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait, and we'll be picking it up next week. We'll talk hockey. We'll talk a little bit of everything next week. But yeah, chat. Any other final thoughts or anything? Now the time to get them in because it's gonna be. It's about that time that we wrap it up. Joe in all caps goes, "Are you ready for some hockey?" I hope I got that across. I felt like that's how you were saying it, Joe. But yeah, I'm ready. I'm really ready. I'm ready for all of this stuff. Scoots, thank you. I really appreciate that. Be seeing you in Rocket League shortly, hopefully. But yeah, thank
Get
you guys.
excited.
Yeah. So again, thank you guys all for tuning in. It's been really fun. And yeah, we'll be back same time, same place next week. With that, I'm Anthony Pinto.
And I'm Keith Malszewski.
And we are out of here.